What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports here on the Ohio State channel at the voice of college football. Going to break down Ohio State's FPI ranking. FPI just came out, and we're going to take a look at exactly what the FPI says about the Buckeyes. They have them ranked number 2 in the country. Their FPI is 28.3. That means against an average team on a neutral field, they would win by 28.3 points. No surprise that they were in the top 2. Most people have the Buckeyes in the top 3 at least. It's kind of been Alabama, Ohio State, and Georgia. But Ohio State has some things that are working in their favor, at least according to the FPI, more than Alabama and Georgia. And I'll show you what those numbers are here in just a second. Let's first look at the record for Ohio State. They are projected to go 11.8 and 1.0. That means that does include the conference championship game if they were to get to the Big Ten championship. That's the lowest number as far as the losses go. 1 loss, that's the lowest number in the country. They have the best win-loss projection of anyone, but most wins as well, 11.8 wins. The FBI, I mean, it's rare. It is rare to see a team all the way down at 1 in that loss column. It's usually the top teams are like 1 point something. For example, Alabama is at 1.5, Georgia 1.3, Clemson 1.6. Those are some of the other top teams. So the FBI really likes Ohio State in pretty much every game that they play. And yes, they will be favorites in every game. I think that's, most people would agree with that. But they've got some tough games. I mean, Michigan State, Penn State, Michigan, Notre Dame. I mean, the schedule isn't that easy for the Buckeyes. So it's very surprising to see that number, that projection as high as it is. And, you know, Notre Dame is number 5 in the FBI. Penn State's number 12. Michigan's number 7. So these are tough opponents according to the FBI, but they still think that Ohio State's going to win all of those games except for maybe one. To go undefeated, they've got them at 32.5%. So that's a very, very high number there. 32.5% chance to go undefeated. That's number 1 in the country by far. The next highest is Georgia at 20%. So yeah, they've clearly got the best path to going undefeated according to the FBI. And when I say these things, I'm talking about the FBI. I'm not talking about my personal opinion or anything. We're just breaking down what the FBI says, whether you agree or disagree. These are the numbers. So 32.5% chance to go undefeated. And then you've got a 100% chance to at least get to a bowl game. I think everyone would agree with that. Win their division, 79.7% chance. So they have the best chance out of anyone to win the Big Ten East. And they've actually got the best chance out of anyone to win their division. The next highest number is Clemson at 58.7%. Alabama's at 49.6%. Georgia's at 46.3%. So the FBI, again, really likes Ohio State. Even though they've got them at number 2 and not number 1, it almost feels like when you look into these other numbers that they think they're the best team, or at least the team with the best chance of making a run to the college football playoff and potentially to the national championship. All right, let's continue on here. Win their conference, win the Big Ten, 73.6%. So what really jumps out to me is how close these numbers are, 73%, 79%. That means that the FBI is not giving the Big Ten West really any chance to win the conference. I mean, very, very small chance that a team out of the West is going to win the Big Ten. I agree with that. I think the top 2 teams at least, maybe top 3 or 4 are in the Big Ten East this year. So, yeah, if they get there, if they get to the conference championship game, they're pretty much guaranteed to win it according to the FPI. How about making the college football playoff? An 82.3% chance that Ohio State will make it to the playoff. That's the best in the country. Now, this number is a little bit closer, though. They have some teams a little bit closer to them. Alabama's at 79.3%. Georgia's at 73.5%. Clemson's down at 59%. So it's kind of right in line with what everyone's been thinking about this year. It's Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State. Those 3 teams almost locks to make the college football playoff. And like I said, most people are kind of thinking that that's how it's going to go. Really, the debate comes down to that 4th team. And I'm sure there are some that maybe see it going a little different. Maybe they think Georgia will fall off this year or whatever. But 82.3% chance, an 8 out of 10 chance to make the playoff, that's pretty good. And how about making it to the national championship? They have a 50% chance, so 50-50 shot that Ohio State is in the national championship. Now, that is not number 1. They did have the best chance to get to the playoff, but make the national championship. Alabama does have them beat barely, 51.6% chance. And so I think that just kind of goes to show you that the path for Ohio State is going to be easier than Alabama, according to the FPI. But again, I just named off several top teams that Ohio State does play, according to the FPI. Of course, they do love the SEC. They seem to always do. And then we go to our final number here, winning it all, a 27.4% chance to win the national championship this season. That's number 2 behind only Alabama. Alabama's at 30.1%. Ohio State there right behind them at 27.4. Next highest team would be Georgia at 22.7. And then Clemson at 11.1. Everyone else is like down around 1 or less pretty much. Except for Texas is actually at 2.3, which is a whole nother discussion. But yes, Ohio State, FPI loves them. If this is any indication of how the season is going to go, it's going to be a great season for Ohio State. They're going to cruise to the college football playoff, but then it'll come down to maybe those playoff games, and it's not quite as easy for them, according to the FBI, to get to the national championship and then, of course, win the national championship. But they are right there with Alabama, having the best shot to do it out of anyone in college football. That's what the FBI says. What do you think about this? Do you agree with these numbers? Disagree? What do you think is way off, or what do you think's right on the money? Give me your thoughts down in the comments below.